It's Monday, and that means it's time for KandL Monday Mindset Mentoring. I'm Laurence, I'm the founder of KandL, and we are dedicated to helping you illuminate and find the light in your life. One of the things I've done over the course of the past year in building out KandL is focus on how to bring more mindfulness and mindset in order to bring transformation into your life. You cannot transform your life without truth and facts and being able to say, this is where I stand in order to move forward in your life. KandL, K-A-N-D-L, is actually a combination of me and my wife's name, and it just happened to be like a candle, right? What do you do with a candle? You take it for light, you use it for, maybe it's a scent, not the best thing to do, but it's a light. So if you have your candle and everyone else doesn't have a light, what do? You take your candle and you light everyone else's up. When you're able to speak truth into your life, you're able to share that with others. People see the truth that you are expressing. They say that they can do it too because you have given them the opportunity and the results needed to live in their facts and truth. And that's what mindset and mindset mentoring is about. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm not here to say this is the way to live life. This is the only way. Rather, my job here is to say, this is what's helped me. This is what I've seen over 11 plus years in the mental health field. This is what I've seen as a supervisor, as a trainer, as a leadership consultant, as a leadership and consultant and developer, as someone who does learning and development, as someone who trains, coaches, and supervises clients and directors, managers, and staff, clinicians. I've seen it all. From the clients who are struggling with depression and anxiety to customers and coaches and directors and managers who don't know how to lead their teams. They may have the knowledge that make them knowledgeable in the field, but they don't know how to lead teams because that's not something we teach. And that's where a mentor and coach comes in. That's where a trainer comes in. There's something you don't know, so you search for it. You're on YouTube, which is owned by Google, which is the largest search engine. You don't even say search it, look it up. You say Google it, and you'll find it on YouTube. Here we are. When I used to do this, I did it on a paid platform, and I decided to put it on YouTube for free because I see that there are so many people who can't afford these services, who can't afford a coach, who can't afford mentoring. So I'm trying to give you what I can and what I know. And I try not to write a script. I don't write a script. I found that when I did coaching off a script, it did keep me in line, but it didn't feel natural and real to who I am. So these are done live. These are filmed. I finally have live capabilities on my phone on YouTube, which I think is like 60 plus subscribers. So thank you to you guys who have subscribed. Now, as you can see, this is not highly professional. This is filmed on an iPhone. I'm in my kitchen right now because I feel like it because I'm cooking. I'm trying to do this as basic as necessary to show you that you don't need all the glitz and glamour to get anything done in life. You just need the simple, basic parts, and that's why I'm coming at you this Monday. Every Monday, what is the first thing you do? You think about and you struggle with, oh God, I gotta go back to my job. As you can see there, I kind of stumble between job and most people say, I gotta go back to work. I hate my work. I hate my job. One of the things I teach is that your job and your work are separate. No matter what you do, you as a purposeful person will always need work. There's something you want to do in life. If you had $1 billion, what would you do? Take a second to answer that question. What would you do with $1 billion? In some form or fashion, whatever you chose to do has some form of work. Maybe you jokingly said, I want to live on an island by myself and not do anything. Try it for a week. Try sitting on your couch for a week and see how you feel. Like really think about that. Yes, we all love vacations. I love the beach. My wife and I, our honeymoon was in Miami, and it was the best week we ever had because there's something about water, flowing water, the beach, sun, it makes you happy. I get that. But you'd get bored really quickly. You'd want to do something. You'd want to work. Your job is the 9 to 5 that pays for things you have to pay for. Bills will always exist. So whenever you're like, money's evil, money's not evil. There's always been some form of a currency. Right now it's money. So I'm in America and it's called a buck, make a buck. $1 is a buck because it came from buck skins. You would trade skins and furs for food. You know where the word salary comes from? It comes from salt. So we're worth your salt, you're worth your salary. It comes from your payment because back in the day, it was hard to get salt. Now you can just buy it whenever you want. But back then you used salt to preserve food because they didn't have refrigerators back in like the 1600s or whatever. And you had to go dig it out. That's where worth your salt, worth your salary, worth your work comes from. And most of us dislike Mondays because we have this idea that work sucks. It's not that work sucks. Your job exists where you can pay bills, you can buy the things you want, you can spend your week complaining about your job so that when you get off of your job, you can go spend all your money and time at bars. Without a job, you wouldn't have that. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of my 9 to 5, and me putting this out there is me being vulnerable with you because I want you to be vulnerable. Because we're in a society and a time where it's like we can't speak the truth. You don't have to love your job, but if it pays for the things that get you where you wanna go in life, it pays. My job helped me buy a ring for my wife. My job helped me pay for our wedding. My job helps me buy the phone I have and the internet to transport this up to YouTube. This account is a Google account that has to be paid for. Coaching right now is not doing it. Coaching is something I'm working on and building, but in all full transparency, I still have a 9 to 5. I'm just like you. So I'm not one of these coaches that's gonna lie to you and be like, oh, you can quit your job and just make lots of money. And it doesn't work that way. I've been there. I quit a job just to quit and just move on and act like everything was all happy, dippy, and good. I struggled. I went into depression. I contemplated the number one way men die. All because I didn't have work. I didn't have meaning. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a drive and something to work towards. You might not be driven to exist in your job, but there are aspects that keep you there. It might be money, because the money funds the lifestyle you want. It might be that you actually connect with the mission. I work in a mental health clinic. I've worked in mental health all my life. When I worked in gyms and sales, I connect with the mission of helping people build a healthier life. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through a gym membership, because you have all the tools necessary. You have a community to build there who's gonna push you. The reason why CrossFit's so popular is because people build a community. No one wants to go throw up and do all this work just to do the work. Right? We have a garage gym, and it's hard to sometimes just work out by yourself. There's a different mindset that goes into that. You go for the community. Maybe you like your coworkers. Maybe you have a mission that you care about. Maybe it funds your income so you can provide for the missions you care about. There's a reason why you're there. If there was absolutely no reason, nothing for you to enjoy, why are you still there? This isn't a call to you to. You can hear my dog, he's about the mission. This isn't my call to you to say quit your job just because. Rather, look at yourself realistically. If you're not happy with your job, what is it you're not happy about? If you're happy with your job, what is it you're happy about? What is it about Monday that makes you dislike Monday? There's nothing, Monday is not any better than Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. None of the days are different. The only difference is that Monday through Friday is a work week, something you've been trained to be established in. So that's why Sunday and Saturday come around, you're like, I'm not gonna do any work. Why would I work? It's a weekend. But if there was no work week, you wouldn't have a weekend. You would just enjoy every single day as if it was just another day in the park. And that's where this whole idea of Sundays scaries and Mondays is weird. Rather than focusing on the job, why not think about the work you are learning about and doing? I do data analytics. I do lightweight data analytics. I don't know if I'm legally, it's not a protected term. Also, this is not mental health nor licensed psychological, medical, or financial advice and should not be taken as such. That should be obvious. I do lightweight data analytics. I manage audits, I train supervisors, I train managers, I train directors, and I coach people. It's not fun spending time plugging away at spreadsheets. Stop. As you can see, this is live, right? This is real life. We're so focused on the fakeness of like, let me tune this, let me grade this, let me put captions here, let me give you boom, blam, glitz and glamour, that you missed a message. That's my dog barking because there's birds outside. He's barking because he wants to go chase them. He wants to go enjoy his life. This morning we went on a walk and he just ran around all happy. Your life can literally be like that. Every morning you wake up and you're like, I'm gonna go chase some birds today. Let me go do that. But you've conditioned yourself to be stuck. Can you hear that? We had birds in the trees. We had birds on our wreath. We had birds in the backyard. And it's one of the most beautiful things when you can slow down your day because you're not complaining and just appreciate the world around you. The reason you're annoyed at the birds waking you up early in the morning, doing what they're supposed to do, is because you dislike your job. You dislike your life because you spend 8 hours of it at a job you dislike because you haven't found a purpose in it. Your job, your work, whatever is your 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, will not remember you when you pass. The stress that you experience is not paying you more. You're paid for what you get done. If you want to be remembered for your work, great. If you want to be remembered for your job and your job title, good for you. I wish you all the best. You're not my people. If you want to be remembered for your work, don't forget what the work is for. One of the things my most recent therapist said to me was, you're teaching about mindfulness. You're focused on being mindful. But what are you being mindful for? And it stuck with me because when you work and you do a job, you get paid. What are you doing the job for? What are you getting paid for? What are you stressing for? In your health and fitness, in your finances, in your relationships, what are you stressing for? What are you worried about? What are you thinking so much on that you are denying your friends and family? You don't hang out with your friends. You tell your mom, I'll show up next time to dinner. You tell your dad, I'll go fishing with you another time. You tell your siblings, hey, I can't hang out this weekend because I've got to finish this report. You tell your kids, I can't go to your game because I got to do this for my boss. You tell your wife, I'm stuck in the office because I have to finish these reports and accounting and all these things are due this week. And then one day you're going to get that text or that call. Hey, mom or dad, mom is in the hospital. Hey, there was an accident. You show up at home and your wife or your husband takes the kids away because you didn't show up. And then you're going to be there like, how could my parents get sick? Well, they're getting older. How could my spouse do that? How could my kids leave me? Well, you were never there, so they didn't leave you. You didn't show up for them. I'm not saying anything of this is right or wrong. Don't hold me accountable. You are responsible for your own actions, just as you stay in a job that you hate. But you have to wake up and realize that it's not about Monday that you're upset about. You're upset about your life, and Monday is just a microcosm and an encapsulation of it. You don't feel free because on Sunday, halfway through Sunday, you get the Sunday scaries and you think, oh God, I have to show up again. You're seeking freedom. The way you seek freedom is by finding something purposeful and meaningful in your life. What is that purpose? What is that thing you want in life? What is it that you want so badly you will do anything for? In America, 200 years ago, people were slaves because they were forced into it. I'm not saying your job is the same as slavery. Never take that out of context. I know someone out there will. We celebrated Juneteenth, which is like for 2 years, there were slaves in Texas because no one sent the message to them. Now, I'm never going to compare our struggles working at 9 to 5, getting paid to do data and run reports. You should never compare your life and struggling at 9 to 5, having to drive to a cushy office with being an actual slave and servant. But you do have the right to validate your experience and say, if you're not enjoying this life you're in, you can make a change. You are stuck because you're not willing to shift the stories in your head that keep you stuck. The only thing keeping you stuck is yourself and your stories. There's this theory and story, but I don't know how real it is. I just heard it like 5 times and saw like one reading on it, where when a baby elephant is born in a circus, I don't like circuses, I don't like that, I don't like any of that. When a baby elephant is born in a circus, they put a chain around it with a weight. As the baby grows up, as the baby elephant grows up, it feels that chain and feels weighted down. It eventually gets so used to it, they do not walk away from the distance of that chain. So as the elephant gets older and can break out of the chains and easily move, elephants are big things. Like, you don't understand how big an elephant, how strong an elephant is. But because it's in its head, it has this story of this chain holds me down. I can only go this far. I can't move beyond this limit. Even when it has the power and capacity to break down the whole circus, it stays within its circle because it was trained that way. You have been training yourself. You have accepted training from others to be stuck where you're at. If you're not happy with where you're at, this is your moment. This is your declaration. This is your Juneteenth for me to tell you, this is your time to set yourself free. I'm not telling you what to do with your life. Everything you take upon yourself is your responsibility. That is not my fault what happens. It's not your spouse's fault what happens. It's not your parents' fault what happens. You choose to be here. Now, out of respect for my upbringing in trauma-informed care, as a good mental health practitioner, trauma is real. Depression and mental health crisis is real. You being upset that you're 5 minutes late to your job because Starbucks didn't have your order, because you woke up 20 minutes late, because you didn't want to work for your boss and have to stay up all night, running reports, doing all these things you could have done earlier, that's not depression. That's you struggling with maintaining basic boundaries. Monday is not bad because it's Monday. Your Monday is bad because you feel like there's nothing you can do to get out of what you're in. And I respect that. I've been there. I quit a job 6 years ago because I was tired and frustrated with it. I spent a year and a half afterwards struggling with being broke as shit, moving back in with my parents, getting ghosted and dumped, losing friends because I didn't want to hang out because I was a loser who stayed at home at 23, 24, because I wasn't providing for myself. I wasn't providing for others. I was providing no value to the world. And that's when I got depressed. And that's when I realized my life wasn't worth it. And that's when I thought about how I was going to quit. But in that moment, I said, who's going to clean me up? This is Men's Mental Health Month. Baby, stop. This is Men's Mental Health Month, and I want you to think about that. If you have this idea, stop. If you have this idea that you want to quit your job, your work, your relationship, your health, your finances, whatever it may be, think about what it is you want it for. What do you want your life to be remembered for? It's not going to be your job. It's not going to be your 9 to 5. It's going to be the work you put in. That's the legacy you're going to leave. Bumblebee are a good dog. My dog's name is Bumblebee. He's a tiny Pomeranian, and he's a microcosm of what I want in my life. I want to take care of kids. Me and my wife have plans for kids, God willing. I want to have a rescue ranch. I want to watch him run around with like little horses and cows. I want to have a grocery that provides whole food level foods for those in food deserts, because I know what it's like to have a parent. I never struggled with it because my parents struggled with it. Have parents who struggle through poverty. My wife's parents struggle through poverty. And if you have the opportunity to make your life better, guess how many more lives you can make better just based on taking yourself out of your pit. When you see the potential from your pit, here's your problem and here's your pit. Here's your problem pit, here's the peak and the potential that exists for you once you dig yourself out of that pit. It's like a rubber band. You pull the rubber band back and it snaps forward. It's like an arrow. My first business was Forge Your Arrow. You have to pull an arrow back to shoot it forward. What is it that you're struggling through in life? What lessons can you learn now when you don't quit growing, when you don't quit taking charge of your life, when you don't quit working to make your life better and surrounding your others with a light that guides them out of their darkness? Think about all the good you can do when you don't quit. All right. This is KandL. This is Laurence with KandL. This has been Monday Mindfulness and Mindset Mentoring. Until next time, peace, love, and hope to your pursuit of freedom. Until next week, or the next reel or story you see.